Hello and welcome to the second installment of the NHSSCA Colorado monthly education video. My name is Everett Ritter-Boss. I'm the Director of Strength and Conditioning at Holy Family High School in Broomfield, Colorado. Today, I'm just going to be talking about the Saftey Squat Bar, how I use it with the athletes at Holy Family High School, and then some reasons why I prefer using the Saftey Squat Bar as opposed to the regular barbell back squat. So first, let's start off with the difference between the Saftey Squat Bar and the regular barbell. So everybody knows what a regular barbell looks like, right? A Saftey Squat Bar is basically just a cambered bar with handles right out front. So here's a picture of one here. It also typically has padding around it that goes around your neck and then down the front on either side, right? The padding is just an added bonus because, I'm sure we've all, have kids that we work with who complain of having that just a regular metal bar across their back, and they say it's uncomfortable, or they need to squat with a pad or something like that. This fixes that problem. I find that the Saftey Squat Bar is a lot more comfortable for kids to use than a regular barbell across their back. Some reasons why I personally prefer to use a Saftey Squat Bar to a regular barbell back squat. So when I start kids squatting, I find that, I start them on a counterweight squat, holding the weight out in front of them. And then we transition to a goblet squat, right? And obviously everybody knows a goblet squat, right? You're holding that bar or the dumbbell right below your chin, up against your chest. That weight's out front. Very similar to a Saftey Squat Bar position, right? Your hands are out front. You're holding those handles in the front of you, just like this, right? Your shoulders are more relaxed. So it allows, in my opinion, the introduction of a back squat at an earlier training age. So for me, I don't typically introduce a barbell back squat to an athlete early on in their training age, usually within the first, it's all dependent on the athlete in the situation that they're in. But I typically don't introduce a barbell back squat to them within the first 6 months or so of training. I just don't see a need to do that, especially when I have a Saftey Squat Bar. So we can introduce that heavier load, right? Because everybody's had it where the kid can't hold a heavier dumbbell, right? You have some kids, some female athletes who maybe can't hold more than an 80-pound dumbbell for more than 4 or 5 reps on a goblet squat. But if you can get them underneath a Saftey Squat Bar, you can load them up a little bit more and still have a good quality squat, in my opinion. It allows for more of an athletic squat, and athletic in quotations, right? Because that can mean whatever you want it to mean, really. But what it means to me is it puts you in more of an upright position, right? It allows your pelvis and your rib cage to be more stacked on top of each other versus when you're in a back squat position. And a lot of kids automatically just start arching that back on their way down, right? To get into a position. Maybe that's how they were taught, that they need to arch their back in order to back squat. I feel it promotes a better hip extension firing pattern, meaning, right, the glutes are going to fire, then the hamstrings, then the QLs or the lower back, in that order, right? We want it to fire in that order, glute, hamstring, QLs, because that promotes for more explosive movements, right? If they're already firing through their lower back as they're descending into the bottom of that squat, then they're not going to be able to fire in that order. Along with that, there's lots of hands-free options. I'm sure everybody's seen people on the internet having videos of people doing a Hatfield squat or a hands-free split squat, hands-free, right? Because they still are a lot of times grabbing onto something out in front of them, the handles that they put in their rack, right? It could be a barbell laying across that they're holding on to. But what this allows is it allows you to overload the eccentric portion of the squat. So you can put on more weight than you can actually squat up, but you can help yourself through the most difficult part of the squat by just pulling through your hands just a little bit to give yourself a little boost. So if you don't have the enough people to be spotting and helping them up through the concentric portion of that squat, then they can just give themselves a little bit of a spot by pulling through their hands. A lot of times kids find it more comfortable to split squat with a safety bar squat than even dumbbells. I see that it's typically a more controlled split squat when they have the safety squat bar on them than even with dumbbells. A lot of times what I'll do is say I have like varsity basketball in, and there's a couple freshmen on the varsity basketball team. I won't necessarily start them on the safety bar squat, split squat. I'll say, okay, you guys are using dumbbells for your weight, and sophomores on up or juniors on up are using a safety squat bar because they have a higher training age and they've already used that safety squat bar. So they're going to be more comfortable in that split squat position. It's also a great way to work around injuries. If you have an athlete who comes in with a shoulder injury, right? Maybe they can't get their hands back behind them because of their shoulder injury, right? So, but they can have it sitting out in front, or you can go hands free, hands out front like this, or even just literally hands free and squat, right? Obviously, if you have a belt squat available to you, you can do that. But if you want them to do something more similar to a back squat, then this is a way to do that. Here's a couple of pictures of me doing on the left a safety squat bar squat, and on the right doing a regular barbell back squat. If you look at these two pictures, you can see right away the picture on the left, and both these pictures were taken in the bottom of the squat, right before I started going up. The picture on the left, you can see I'm getting deeper and I have a more upright posture, which again puts me in that more athletic position that, in my opinion, is going to allow for more transfer to the field of play. And what are we doing as strength and conditioning coaches, right? What's our main goal? First, right, do no harm to the kids, right? Second, we want to transfer training to the field of play, because if all we're doing is getting them really strong in the weight room, increasing their power output and their strength in the weight room, but none of that is seen on the field, if they're not able to express that on the field, then what good is it doing them? In my opinion, it's not doing them any good at all, right? So I want to try and mimic those athletic positions that they're going to see out on the field in the weight room, within reason, obviously. And I feel that this squat on the left is more of an athletic positioning squat. You look on the right, I'm still getting good depth, don't get me wrong, but I have seen several times where an athlete's not able to achieve parallel with a barbell on their back, a regular barbell on their back, and if I put them under a safety squat bar, they're able to get below parallel, and they're able to get there in a better position. Again, because I really feel, because it allows for you to be more stacked, your pelvis and your rib cage to be more stacked on top of each other. Instead of leading with that arch to the back and bracing through the back, you are more apt to brace in front through your abs, which I think is a better place to be bracing than cranking through your back. I've had lots of kids who have only back squatted, and then I say, well, we're going to try safety squat bar today. And they, at first, they're like, oh, well, it's not going to be as good. It's, it can't possibly be. They always complain about having sore backs after they back squat. And then they get under the safety squat bar and their backs don't hurt afterwards, because it puts you in that better position. It puts you in a better position to brace with your abs instead of your back. So moving on, some more reasons for the safety bar squat. I believe, strength, right? That's one of our main goals in the weight room, increase strength. So you can use this for many different strength movements, your regular squat, box squats. You can use it for single leg movements. Anything you can do with a regular barbell, essentially you can do with a safety squat bar, but in my opinion, in a better position, more athletic position. Again, upper back mobility issues. How many of you have gotten a kid who can't get their arms back here without feeling pressure in their shoulders, right? And I'm not saying, oh, well, they have upper back mobility or shoulder mobility issues, so let's just bypass that by putting them into a better position with the safety squat bar. That's a way to work around it, kind of. We still need to work on those issues, right? Because that's going to limit their ability to play their sport in a lot of cases, but it still allows us to get good quality training in while we're working on those issues. I also like to use the safety squat bar with power movements, so speed squats, jump squats, box squats, where we're really focusing on firing up out of that box, off of that box. Again, transfer training to the field of play is really important. And if we're able to perform these movements and build that power, build that strength and the mobility, because as I said before, puts you in a more upright position, allows for a greater range of motion in a better position. If you're able to do that and build the strength and the power in those positions, is going to be more likely, in my opinion, to transfer to the field of play. So real quickly, there's some contact information for me. Feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Everett Ritter-Boss. I'm the Director of Strength and Conditioning at Holy Family High School in Broomfield, Colorado. I love connecting with any coach out there and just talking shop or talking about anything strength and conditioning. Feel free to reach out on Twitter or give me a call on my cell phone as well. I'm always open. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed and got some value out of this. Thank you.